Newcastle making big strides in the transfer window. We've known about this deal for a couple of weeks, but it has now been confirmed. Newcastle have signed Italian midfielder Sandro Tonali from AC Milan, a fee of around £55 million. Newcastle doing bits. Newcastle doing very good bits.
Yeah, well, this is it, isn't it? This is the moment, don't you think? This is the moment that it became real. This is the moment that Newcastle United actually announced themselves to the world. This is the moment that we have to redefine who Newcastle United are in our head. The way that you may have looked at Newcastle United over the years, you know, you've been conditioned over the past 2 decades that they are a club that aren't really serious. You know, without sounding like Succession, they're not serious people. Whereas now they are. I think this signing is the moment. You know, this is the first time since the PIF took over that they have gone to a truly elite club
and taken their player
and signed a truly elite player that other truly elite clubs were trying to sign.
Good shout.
This is the first time it's happened. You know, you can always you can talk about Isaac or you could talk about Kieran Trippier, and they bought a lot with them.
This
is
signing
them Kieran
showing
Trippier,
their power.
It's showing their power.
Because AC Milan wouldn't have want Tonali to go. Tonali's an AC Milan boy.
And he stood on the curver.
Doesn't want that.
Proper.
And they literally said, no, take that and shut up.
Yes, pretty
much. That's what they've done.
And they've done it to AC Milan.
Yeah,
That's the other thing. That's the other thing. AC Milan, depending on your age, I think a certain generation, certainly my generation, will always look at AC Milan as the most prestigious, iconic, glorious football team in the world, maybe with the exception of Real Madrid.
Agreed.
Like when I think of football, European
Giants,
European heavyweights, European giants, I think of the San Siro, I think of that iconic black and red kit. I think of Van Basten and Gullit and Shevchenko and Crespo and whatever else. Baresi, Maldini, it's steeped in history.
We could go on, by the way. Costa Curta, we can do this all night.
Yeah. Rui Costa, it's a beautiful.
Are we having a competition?
I mean, I could do this all night. I could
Okay.
wax lyrical. You know, I'm a Gazzetta Italia kid. But look, Newcastle United went over to an elite team and prized away the jewel in the crown, really, under the nose of every other elite club. You know, in January, Chelsea were going to sign Tonali. Like, he has been linked with some of the very best. And I think today is the day, if you haven't done this already, I think today is the day that you have to acknowledge that Newcastle United are genuine. They are contenders. Yeah, they are contenders.
For what?
Look, I don't think...
Wait, for what?
What are they contenders for?
Yes.
They are contenders for the Premier League.
Trophy. The Premier
They are contenders for. I don't think anybody can eclipse Manchester City for what it's worth.
Yeah, but in that race for second, which is Liverpool's and Arsenal's, you're now putting Newcastle firmly in that.
I think in terms of what clubs have the ability to create the illusion of a title race, I think Newcastle United are one of the clubs that...
It'd be interesting to see, though, how they battle Champions League football as well as...
Yeah, they've got a lot to navigate. They've got a lot to learn.
They need a few more bodies.
But Addy, do you know how impressive this signing is? Not only because of the statement that it's made, that's what we've discussed. You know, we've spoken about this signing for quite a while now, and we haven't actually discussed what a player he is. Like, we're talking about what it means and the fact that he's come from Milan and he's a Milan fan who stood on the curver, who's chosen to go to Newcastle, who's prioritised Newcastle over lots of other opportunities. But we haven't spoken about what a player he is and how it will elevate this entire Newcastle United team.
You look at that midfield, and again, Joe Linton in the midfield with Bruno Guimaraes, and now Sandro Tonali.
Addy, listen to this. Newcastle United last year, they were without Bruno Guimaraes for 6 games. On 6 occasions, they were without Bruno Guimaraes. They didn't win any of those 6 games.
You know when you just had to confirm, Addy, what 6 meant there for me? Like, they were about
it's like
Bruno
one above 5, less than 7.
Just so you know, Addy, 6 times meant he did not play for them 6 times.
I said it, but you looked at me in bafflement, so I thought I'd confirm.
Maybe you thought my GCSE 6 didn't.
Yeah,
I don't
quick
know.
maths.
No, I know what 6 meant.
But look, on six separate occasions, Bruno Guimaraes wasn't available. Newcastle United didn't win any of those games because the drop-off when Guimaraes wasn't available, setting the tempo of the game, they didn't have a player that could do it. So now, look, don't get me wrong, the dream will be that Guimaraes and Tonali are on the same pitch. But you know when they're not? Look, they can certainly play with each other. They'll complement one another. They will add to one another's game and inspire one another. But when Bruno Guimaraes isn't around, the drop-off isn't so severe. And equally, it will work vice versa.
Yeah, massive signing.